I'm very pleased today to be talking to Marie-Louise Engoujade. She is the Chief Executive of Reporter, which is essentially a coaching organization. And therefore, her main focus has to be communication. And what we're going to talk about, Marie-Louise, is whole being communication. And my first question is, what is it and why is it important?
Whole being communication is something that I've recently come up with, actually, Nigel, to describe what I've been doing for over 15 years in my work with client organizations and individuals in those organizations. And it is a way to describe how we communicate as individuals. So all of us are always communicating with our whole being. And what that involves is, first of all, the mindset. What are we thinking? What are we thinking about ourselves, about the situation, about our objectives, about the challenges, about the people that we're communicating to or with? And it's also, the second part of this is then the messages. Whatever our purposes, whatever our intentions are, and what we're thinking and feeling about the whole situation, then needs to be structured in messages that really make sense and that are clear.
So are you saying that if we're not aware of the kind of hidden elements of our being, in other words, our mindset, the context in which we're operating, how we feel about ourselves, that impacts negatively, potentially, on how we come over, how we communicate?
It will definitely impact, and it will impact either negatively or positively. The other thing and mindset influences every other aspect of whole being communication. The next thing we need to consider is the audience. So whether it's an audience of 1 or 5 or 15, 50, 5,000, then the way that we are thinking affects the way that we structure our messages, and then the way that we connect and engage with the audience.
So someone can come over differently to the way they think they come over because they're just not aware of that bigger overall impact, and the fact that when someone is communicating with us, we are reading everything, not just listening to the words that come over.
Well,
is that the point?
That's absolutely right. And most of it we're actually interpreting unconsciously. So I've recently heard Julian Staud talking about trust and the whole importance of listening and engaging with other people, how you develop trust. And whole being communication is very much a part of that, because we are always interpreting messages that we're getting visually and with our hearing, and also with the words that are used, but a lot of the signals are interpreted unconsciously. The next part of whole being communication is that listening piece with the audience, because we're not just communicating in a vacuum. We're communicating with other individuals who have their own ideas, their own vision, their own challenges, and their own opinions about everything. And our messages are going to fall on absolutely deaf ears unless we're connected with the people that we're communicating with. Then the way that we deliver the messages, which is the fourth part of whole being communication, is with our body language, our physical presence, maybe our appearance, although that's less important than sometimes we think it is. But it's the way that we use our bodies to help us communicate with the energy and to illustrate the messages that we are giving. The next bit is our vocal impact. So the expression, the energy of our voices. And going back to mindset drives in the moment, even the choice of words that we use, the choice of phraseology, and how it comes across, how we're thinking about it will come across to the other party. And it does affect, a simple change of words and phraseology can affect the way the messages are received.
So let me just try and recap. What you're saying is that we as individuals need to develop an awareness of that overall impact and not just focus on getting the words right. And if you look in many
Yes.
companies, they craft the words, they craft
yeah.
the words, and imagine we've got the right words, job done.
Oh, it's content. It's all content.
Yeah.
Somebody says, oh, I have a big presentation. Let me work on my slides. Without first thinking about, well, what's the purpose of the presentation or the meeting? Who are the people there? What are their objectives and expectations? What do I know about the people? What do they know about me? And how is everybody thinking about the whole context here? Within the different aspects of whole being communication, there are purposeful decisions that we can make about how we go about approaching the situation. And in my programs, coaching and group training and development, I give all sorts of tools to help us with this. Stakeholder management. You know, if you want to have great relationships with other people in your business, your team, your peers, your senior stakeholders, if you want to have a great impact, if you want to inspire, if you want to motivate, if you want to convince, if you want to have credibility and have a leadership presence and brand that actually has the positive impact to achieve your goals, then it will be about your whole being communication, whether we're aware of it or not.
Does this work online? Because I think one of the problems is that people, when they go online, they seem to lose all of that sense of themselves and become just deliverers, automatons almost. So does it help people online as well as people in a face-to-face environment?
Inevitably, it will. And in our written communication as well.
Yes.
You know, if we're thinking about being authentic,
yes.
being connected, having our mindset clear about all of those aspects that we mentioned before, and then thinking about the audience that it's intended for and what their objectives are, then definitely it's going to make a difference.
Yes,
Definitely.
I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see. And I think if you've got someone who is suddenly or over a period of time aware of all of that, they never lose that. That's a kind of stage that they reach. Is that right?
It's
a minimum
partially
stage.
right. It's partially right.
Okay.
Because we can be aware of something and then we don't use that awareness. I may know something and not act on it. But so part of whole being communication and being at your optimal best as a leader in the way you communicate with your various audiences involves consciously communicating with yourself in a way that is productive and positive toward your purpose and your intentions. And then it's about acting on that every day. So as we all know, leadership presence and impact depends also on consistency. So it's not just about awareness at all. It's about the conscious application of that awareness,
yes.
and then also using principles that remain inviolate all through communication. It's using those certain principles in the right way to make sure that whatever our intentions and purpose and values are, that we are communicating in the right way to achieve then the business objectives as well as the way we connect and interact with the people.
So it's about joined up. Essentially, the message you give is reflected
Completely
in
joined up.
the way you behave, the way you look, the way you approach the people that you're working
Joined
with.
up, congruent, and everything about whole being communication is intertwined, one
Yes.
with the other. So to have complete congruence is to have the most and optimal impact.
Yes, complete congruence is a perfect phrase on which to end. Marie-Louise Angoujade, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.